This is now my fourth take. Every single take is way too long. I'm really trying to shorten it down here because we all have attention spans like a peanut. And I have a lot to say. So in this video, I want to talk to you about becoming something great. I believe that everyone has the capacity to be something great, to be something of significance, and to do amazing, amazing things. And my purpose for making these videos, one, is to hold myself accountable to the goals that I have in my own life. And I think having an audience to help me do that will be really valuable. So that's a selfish reason. Reason number two, though, is I really want to inspire other people to believe in themselves and to join me essentially on this journey to achieve our goals and to do significant things. Doing something that you love, with people who have similar mindsets, that's the best way to do it. I want to do these things with people who think the same way I do and have the same types of ambitions and desires in their lives. And so having that audience, having you guys be there to talk to and kind of have a community is what I want. And I want to do it together. I want everyone to accomplish amazing things because I truly believe that everyone has the capacity to do incredible things. We're all different. We all have different talents and abilities and gifts. But I believe and I know that we do all have the capacity to be something great. And I believe that, period, no matter what. We have a tendency of limiting ourselves, self-doubt, negative comments from other people, distractions. All of these things really limit our abilities, and it hinders our large capacity, essentially. So the analogy of the fleas in the jar, they put fleas in a jar, put the lid on, and the fleas will jump and hit the lid over and over again. And eventually the fleas will learn to jump just below where that lid is at so they're not hitting it. And after a while you can take that lid off and allegedly the fleas won't jump out because they have now limited themselves to believe they can only jump this high because they don't want to hit that lid that was there. Well, I think we do that same thing in our life. We really limit ourselves by these negative thoughts and these people we surround ourselves with. But our capacity is enormous. Just like the flea's capacity to jump, fleas can jump ridiculously far for how big they are or small they are. I've heard that it would be compared to a human being able to jump the length of a football field is about how far a flea can jump based on its body size. So it's truly, incredible, right? And I think as individuals, we also have the capacity, maybe not to jump 100 yards, because that's kind of a physical limitation, but we have the capacity to do incredible things that just don't seem realistic all the time. And that's what I hope to inspire into everybody, because I truly believe that. I truly believe that. I believe it in myself, and I believe it with other people. We have the capacity to do great things. So to start, I want to talk about maybe how we can unlock some of that capacity. And I think the first thing that all of us need to have in our life to really unlock that capacity is a vision for our life. And so I'm going to write this down, and I'm going to talk about my vision and hopefully give you some ideas for what you can do. So a vision is kind of like a dream. What is your dream life? It needs to be something that inspires you, encourages you, motivates you. And really, you can think of everything. What's the vision for where you want to live when you're old? What do you want to have done with your life? What are the places you want to have visited? All of these things can make up your vision, right? But you have to think about it. You have to think about all the things that you want to do and that you want to get out of this life. And you can write it all down. You can write 10 pages about what your vision is and write every little detail. Or you can simplify it. You can come down to one sentence or even 2 words. And I've thought about this a lot. I think about it all the time. And I have boiled mine down to 2 words, hence the focus of this channel. And my vision, I want to be something. I want to be something. Okay, and to me that means, being something is significant. There's significance behind the word something versus someone. Okay, I want to be something of significance in all aspects of my life. As a husband, as a father, as a friend, as a stranger, I want to have done significant things in my career and been successful. So the 2 words be something really encompass all the aspects of my life and of my vision. I can get way more detailed and really knock down every little item if I wanted to, because I've thought about it so much. But for now, be something is my vision. And so you need to take the time to think about your vision for your life. What is your vision? Think about every little detail. Write it down, long form, a page, 2 pages, whatever it is. Think about every little detail, and then maybe start to scale it back. How can you scale it back to a paragraph? How can you scale it back to a sentence? And then maybe, if you can, a word or 2 words, but you don't have to. A sentence, if you can get it back to a sentence, that would be awesome. And hopefully that encompasses all the areas of your life. So you need to have a vision. Have a vision. Have a vision. Think about it. Once you have a vision, the next step to help you accomplishing that and actually making that real is you have to set goals. So goals reflect the desires of our heart and our vision of what we can accomplish in this life. Okay, so goals drive you to that vision. They drive you to that dream life. All the goals you set, personal goals in your life, should be directing you and putting you on that path to make that vision a reality. Okay, so when I set goals, I like to set goals for different areas of my life. And so the ones I'm going to focus on right now are physical, spiritual, and temporal. Okay. So physical is obviously my physical body. What are the goals I have for my body? So that one is really important because I believe my physical well-being is essential to help me excel in other areas of my life, mentally, spiritually, and ultimately, temporally. And by temporal, I mean that's kind of more my business, like career goals, maybe hobbies, things like that. That's what I call it. And so that's what I mean by that. So physical, I'm going to actually tie to mental, just because they're kind of associated in the way that I think about things. And my goal is to, honestly, it's pretty simple. Be physically fit. And I'll put mentally there. Okay, and I forgot to mention, these goals are 5 years. These are my 5-year goals. I think reaching out 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, I don't think that's the best way to do it. You can if you want, but that's where you kind of start to blend with your vision. Your vision should encompass the big picture, and these goals should be on a tighter time frame, helping you take step after step right now to make that vision a reality. So 5 years is about as far as I'd reach out, because anything beyond that, there's going to be so many different changes that are going to happen in your life, and you're going to learn so much more. And I just think anything beyond 5, and 5 is pretty far too, but there's just going to be so many variables, and it's going to be hard to really get a goal that you're going to be able to stick to for that long. And anyway, so on, you get the idea. So for me, being physically fit and mentally fit, that's pretty broad, but I know what that looks like for myself. I know what that means as far as, what I want to look like. And it makes sense. It works. You can be more specific than that. because like I said, that is pretty broad. You can really narrow it down to exactly a weight goal or some other, very immeasurable goal. For me, I will be able to look back and I will be able to know, did I accomplish that goal? Am I what I wanted to be? And ultimately that's what's important to me. So that's my physical and mental goal. Spiritual is going to be, a fairly broad goal as well. I'm pretty religious. I go to church and do all those things, and my spirituality is a large part of my life. And, I think that's actually what feeds a lot of my motivation and things like that. So it's really important to me. And, my goal for that is going to be pretty broad as well. It's going to be I want to be spiritually active and strong. Okay. So pretty broad, I know, but again, that means a lot to me, and I know what's going to go into that, and I'll be able to say, yes, I did do that, no, I didn't do that. And a lot of the daily steps I'm going to take to make that happen are going to be measurable, so I'll know if I'm on the right track and if I'm headed to achieving that goal. And then the last one, temporal, and this is where my my career and things come into play, and that's really what I'm going to focus on. And this will be the one where all the haters, maybe not haters, but all the realistic, grounded people out there, love you, but I might lose some people on this one. And this one I'm gonna measure monetarily. I want to make $10 million in the next 5 years. So that's a BHAG. That's a big, hairy, audacious goal. And I think I have a plan that I can make that a reality with. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But that is my goal. I want to make $10 million in the next 5 years. And that's really going to lead me to have the life that I want to live. And I'll go more into details in the future on that. But that is my temporal goal. And so I'll break down my step-by-step how I think I can accomplish that. And maybe some of you will be like, okay, maybe he's on to something here. Or you'll still think, okay, he's crazy. There's no way he's ever going to accomplish that. But truthfully, I believe I can do it. And that's what matters, is I think I can. And I think I have the way to do it. So I've got the goals now. And I'm running through this pretty fast. Take time to really think about your goals and really break down what you want out of your life and try and be specific. I'm going quickly, but I've thought about all of this thoroughly, and I know what it looks like. So make sure you have that picture in your head and you've been thorough. So now that I have the goals here, I'm going to start breaking out plans to accomplish those goals. So I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to do my physical plans. Okay, and this again is mental too. Okay, so my goals for that, my goal for that is I want to be physically and mentally fit. Okay, so what are my plans to accomplish that? This is the next step. We've got our vision, our goals that align with our vision, and now our plans are the day-to-day action items, the things that we actually go out and do to achieve our goals and ultimately make our vision a reality in our life. So plan number 1 for physical is work out 5 days a week. Okay, work out 5 days a week. That's what I'm going to leave it. To me, that means getting my heart rate up, doing some type of exercise or activity. It could be going for a hike, for a couple hours with my family. My heart rate's up. I'm being active for an extended period of time during my day. I'm trying to work out regularly, lift weights, run, things like that. So working out 5 days a week in one form or another is what I'm going to do to achieve my goal of being physically and mentally fit. Number 2, and this might be the hardest one, no soda or energy drinks. Okay, this is a big deal for me. I've been addicted to soda and energy drinks for a very, very, very long time, and I've tried to quit I don't know how many times, and I've gotten a few weeks or maybe even a month, and then I always come back and hop back on the train. But this one is extremely important. The older I've gotten, the more I can see how sugar and caffeine and all the other stuff they put in energy drinks especially really affect my mental health. And I get migraines, and this stuff really triggers migraines. And my migraines have gotten to the point where, you know, I can get 2 a week, or usually not 2 a week, but they have gotten to the point where it's been 2 a week, and that's terrible. And that really kills my motivation and my energy to do anything else. I also am fairly anxious, and I took medication for anxiety for a long time. I don't anymore, but now I know, and I can really feel the effect of energy drinks playing on my anxiety. It really heightens things that don't need to be heightened. And anyway, so all in all, that's a really important one for me. That'll be crucial to accomplishing my other goals and making all of this a reality. So plan number 3 on the physical and mental side is we're going to read 1 book a month. Okay, I'm going to start with 1 book a month. I need to read 1 book a month. So this can be business, it can be nonfiction, it can be whatever, but it needs to exercise my brain, essentially. I need to be gaining knowledge or expanding my creativity, whatever it is. It needs to be value. I need to be adding value in that book. So I'm not going to read Captain Underpants for... I read Captain Underpants when I was in elementary school, and my mom hated it, so that's why I said that. I'm not going to read Captain Underpants. It needs to add value to my life, but that could be history, autobiographies, biographies, whatever it is. I'm not going to lock it down. It's super specific. And all in all, those are going to be my 3 big plans. Now, I can amend these over time if I need to. I can make changes. I might bump it up to 2 books a month. I might bump it up to 4 books a month. I might add, on the no soda or energy drinks, I might add, you know, also no cake, no brownies, you know, whatever. If I see that those things are affecting my health significantly as well, I want to amend and add to these things as I get more comfortable and start getting in the role of these things, because eventually no soda and energy drinks will become pretty easy, and it'll be easier for me to add another one to that. Okay, now let's take cake off the plate, and that'll make me even healthier. So amendments to your plans and goals is okay. So don't feel like you have to lock into these, and if you mess up too, that's going to happen too. If you mess up, all hope isn't lost. You know, you can just be better the next day. Okay, I probably will mess up on these. I'm probably going to fall short at some time or another, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you have to abandon ship on your goals or your vision. Okay, progress is the most important thing with all of this. You are making progress. You are making progress. I will talk more about that at the end of the video, but remember that. You're making progress. Okay, so now let's look at my spiritual. Okay, spiritual plans. Number 1, pray intently every day, at least once. Sorry, handwriting is rough. Pray intently every day. All right, that's important to me. Talk to God. Really being intentional with my prayers, being meditative and thinking and listening and making the most out of it, essentially. That's huge for me. 2, read scriptures daily. Okay, that's another big one. I think there's a lot of a strength and power that comes from studying the scriptures, and we're blessed with insights into our own life, and I really think it can be motivating and encouraging and inspiring, and a lot of good can come from reading our scriptures as well as praying. And then number 3, this will be a little bit harder to measure, but I have thought about it. Look for opportunities to serve, and then do it. So looking for opportunities to serve, and then obviously doing it. If you find an opportunity, well, you got to do it. Finding is one thing, but that's going to be a little bit harder to measure. But it's going to be more of just having the thoughts consciously running around in your head that, hey, is there an opportunity here to be kind to somebody, to do something nice, and really then moving on that opportunity. And I think that, serving others is good for your soul. It's good for all aspects of your life. And so that's really important. So those are my spiritual plans. And again, I might amend those over time. I might add more. I might change, and that's okay. And I'm going to fall short. These are also going to be really hard for me. But again, that is okay. All right. You just have to make progress. Okay. Now, temporal. So $10 million, that's a pretty large goal to have. How am I going to accomplish that? Well, right now, I work and manage a company, my dad's company, and I'm kind of taking that over as he works into retirement. So the first one I want to talk about is grow TVE to a, let's see, this is 5 years. $10 million company. Okay. Now that isn't going to be how I make my $10 million. That'll help, hopefully, and I should be earning some income, and I will be making some income from that. But the ownership, I don't have all the ownership of that. Right now it's my dad's. And then some of the ownership is going to be transferred to me probably, and also a couple of the guys who are going to really manage that and push that forward. So I will manage a company and kind of act as a director, but there's going to be a couple of other guys who are really going to take some lead responsibilities and take on a lot of that work. And so they're going to have ownership too. So, if we sold in 5 years for $10 million, I wouldn't get the majority of that. I would get some, sure, but not necessarily planning on selling in 5 years. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe we'll sell it before 5 years. I don't know. But either way, that's a goal. I need to focus on TVE and keep pushing and growing that idea. Number 2 is grow and sell STC for 1 million plus. So this is another company I've worked on. I tested it out last year. I got really good feedback. I think the idea is solid. I know the idea is solid. It was profitable. There was kind of a blue ocean in the area that I live for this opportunity. And I just happened to kind of stumble upon this whole thing. And so I'm working on that right now. I met with a guy yesterday. We're talking about how we're going to push it forward and what our next steps are going to be. And that one, I think, if we push really hard, we can get a book of business. And if we want, we can sell that for north of $1 million to a larger company. And also I got to put within 1.5 years is my goal. And so that is important. I think that idea is there. I'm going to have other people help me. I'm not going to be the sole owner. But I want to push that and scale it as fast as possible so that, we can hopefully either be just cash flowing a ton and our profits are crazy good and I hold on to it forever, or we sell it for, $1 million or $2 or $3. And that's going to funnel into my $10 million vision. I'm not going to go into details on what it is. Eventually I will. You'll be able to see ins and outs of what I'm doing every day. Number 3, grow SS to a 5 mil company. Okay, this is another business I'm working on, and I'm rolling out right now pretty much. I've been working on it for a while. It's kind of associated with TVE, not entirely. It's going to be separate, but me and a buddy are working on it, pushing it out, and we think the opportunity is going to be pretty good. So any capital that I get from this first one, STC here, I think can funnel into SS. And again, the reason I'm not saying exactly what it is because there's going to be 4 people that watch this video. And on the 1 in a billion chance that one of the 4 people are some shark out there that think that this is a good idea and go and take it and run. And I know that's incredibly unlikely, but hey, you can never be too safe. Crazier things have happened. So I'm not going to say exactly what it is because I think it's a good idea. And I think there's, a pretty good opportunity to kind of monopolize that in the area that I live, because there's not any competition on it right now. So grow that to a $5 million company. I think it can be done. I think it can be done with a good marketing strategy, with a good sales team, and with a good product, which I think we have. I believe that's possible. Sue me. Number 4. You'll never believe it, but I have another business idea. And this one I've actually worked on for a longer amount of time than these other 2, STC and SS. So I want to grow that. And this is kind of my be-all, end-all. This idea, this idea is going to be a lot longer term than, STC and SS. But I would like to be, by 5 years, I'd like to be doing 1 million in revenue annually. So 5 years, I want that business to be doing $1 million in revenue annually. That would be significant. That would be huge if I was able to do that. So that is no small undertaking to make that happen. With the nature of the business, I'm going to be selling to businesses, and that's going to take a lot of diligent effort to make that happen, and a great service, a great product, an amazing sales team. There's going to be a lot that goes into that. Okay, number 5 is social media and YouTube. Okay, I think one of my goals to accomplish these is to also have an audience to help me accomplish these goals, to stay accountable and other things. So this kind of feeds into that. And if I do well enough, eventually I'll be able to make money on social media and all this stuff too. So social media and YouTube, I want to have 1 million personal followers, all platforms. So that's 1 million across all platforms. It could be 500,000 on YouTube and 500,000 across everything else. Whatever it shakes out to be, you get the idea. And then I also want to have 1 million TVE followers. So we're doing a YouTube channel for Treasure Valley Electric, and that's really important, I think, to the growth of Treasure Valley Electric and adding value to that company. I've thought about that a lot. And I also want to have 1 million followers on that front as well. So across all platforms. So those are my plans. Now, I can go more into detail on those as well. And I have gone more into detail on those as well. I don't have time to break it all down right now, but these are the plans for how I can accomplish my goals, and these goals align with my vision. And ultimately, it's pretty significant. I think it's pretty huge what I'm trying to undertake here. And I'm aware of that. I'm aware of how maybe unrealistic $10 million in 5 years sounds. And all the naysayers out there, I get it. I mean, I do. I really do. But I also believe that I have the ability to do it. And that belief outweighs, all the doubts out there that even I have. And so that's why I have set these goals. And I encourage you, as you think about your goals, to reach for some amazing things. Set goals to do incredible things. And just don't listen to the naysayers. Don't let the negative comments from other people be justification for not doing something. Okay? And here's the best part. If I fall short of all these goals in 5 years, if I don't accomplish and hit a single goal, but I worked on it and I tried for 5 years, I will be so much further along than if I had not tried at all. Okay? So even if I fall short, but I tried and tried and tried the entire 5 years, I will be further along than if I had just set some measly old goal that was super realistic and I could without a doubt accomplish. Because it's a mentality shift. I'm shifting my mentality now to how can I make $10 million? Making $10 million is like, okay, wow, what am I going to do? It changes how you have to think about things versus if it's like, okay, I want to make $500,000. Okay, well, making $500,000 in 5 years, I'm not going to say that's easy because I haven't done it. But it's a different mentality than if I want to make $10 million. So if I fall short of making $500,000, or even if I do make $500,000, I made $500,000. Okay, if I fall short of making $10 million, and maybe I only get 10% there, well, that's still $1 million. Okay, and I know in reality, nothing is guaranteed. I might fall short and make zero in 5 years. Okay, but I guarantee I will have learned a ton in that amount of time that will have added value to my life. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is it's okay to reach for the stars. Okay, what do they say? Shoot for the stars, and if you miss, no. Shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Okay, so there's still so many amazing things out there that we can have and we can achieve, even if we miss on some of these large goals. We're so much better off trying than not. Okay, and at the end of the day, that is what I want to share. And I hope this video has inspired you in some degree or another to maybe think a little bit larger about what you are actually capable of doing. I promise that you have the capacity to do amazing things. I want your support, I want your encouragement, and I want you to do it with me. Okay, I'm starting right now. I am starting right now, and this next 5 years, I'm going to work as hard as I can to make this a reality for myself. And maybe I fall short, so what? I just need to stick to it and try and try and try and try and try, because that is where progress happens. And I will be so much further along if I try for this next 5 years than if I didn't at all. And I encourage you to do the same thing. And I promise you, if you do, you will have things happen in your life that otherwise would not have happened. And you'll be able to look back and be so proud of the things that you've accomplished. So please do it with me. Subscribe, follow along. I want you there, and I want to do it with you. So in the comments, please let me know if you think I'm crazy. Please let me know what your goals are and what your vision is. I would love to talk to you guys about it and encourage you and support you. So if you need somewhere to write it down, write it in the comments or message me directly. I don't care, and I would love to talk to you about it. That's all I have. Good luck. We'll see you on the next one.